Fireside chat with Shri Apurva Chandra, Secretary, Ministry of Information and Broadcasting, Government of India, with none other than Mr. Praveen Someshwar, Co-Chair and FICCI Media and Entertainment Committee, MD and CEO, HT Media. Can we have these two fantastic personalities on stage? Big round of applause as these two gentlemen take center stage. Praveen ji, Apurva ji, stage is all yours. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, Mr. Chandra. You've been up on stage morning, afternoon, and you're saying you're going to be on stage in the evening also.
Yeah, that's what I said. This is my second appearance now, and now this is more of occasion for people to say cut, 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 because it will be more of a repeat.
Okay, I'm not therefore going to introduce you. Okay.
Sure.
Because I think they all know you, and I wouldn't get to introducing you, other than saying that you are from Maharashtra, and you are an alum of IIT Delhi.
Yes, I am from Maharashtra cadre. आणि मी मराठी बोलू शकतो.
That is nice. Okay. Look,
मी यांना विचारलं होतं तुम्ही मराठीत प्रश्न विचारा तर मी मराठीतच बोलू.
But I, unfortunately, don't know Marathi as well as you know. So, the media and entertainment industry is getting disrupted. There is no doubt about it. First, through the digital stuff, now AI will further disrupt it significantly. It obviously brings challenges, but equally brings a lot of opportunities, if I may say so, in terms of innovation, in terms of bringing out content, which is very, very different. Social media has democratized content. It could be news, it could be media, it could be any form of content. And therefore, it's really challenged the legacy businesses. It could be any of the businesses, it's challenged them. Okay. Comes with its opportunities and many challenges. Opportunities is new revenue monetization models, which is an amazing opportunity. Reach, which is amazing. Challenges, many. Misinformation, which you're always concerned about. You could call it fake news, you could call it misinformation. It could be regulation of OTT content. You just spoke about it in the morning about self-regulation, and therefore and it could also be the balance between big tech and media companies. Okay, how big tech, is able to monetize but does not share the spoils, because they're constantly using the same content. So many challenges. Now, the ideal situation is everybody finds a balance. The old legacy media, while the big tech, and the new media organizations, and find a balance. But there are many challenges, if I may say so, as we get to finding that balance. So, given this background, and given all that is happening, what is your idea of balance here between legacy media organizations, which could be news or content, and the other side is social media and big tech stuff?
Yeah, you have raised 2 or 3 issues in the same question. One is, of course, the misinformation and fake news, because now social media, it is largely user-generated content. There is less of editorial, anything which is editorial, who are looking at it and curating the content and looking at the genuineness of that content. So the chances of misinformation, fake news, they are much more. In fact, after me, I think Ishan of YouTube is following after me, and you could ask Ishan also the challenges which he faces on the content which is coming on YouTube. We are constantly in conversation with all the social media intermediaries, whether it is YouTube, whether it is Facebook, whether it is Telegram and others, on how to prevent misinformation and fake news on these platforms. It is a continuous dialogue, and they have to come up with more of tech solutions, especially in our country where there are multiple languages, because I think their AI is more proficient in probably English, but here in India, because there are multiple languages, the content also comes out in various languages, and it is very fast. The user-generated content comes out, and there are multiple challenges on how to prevent that. The second issue which you raised was regarding the balance between the traditional media and the big tech. So there again, there have been some cases in the international jurisdiction, especially Australia, Canada, and then EU also is trying that. So to bring about a balance between the content creator and the intermediaries who are making that, taking it to the people. It is in a way a symbiotic relation also, because the big tech has helped more and more people for the media to reach more and more people. Otherwise, it would not have the reach would have been limited. The print media is a certain clientele who can read and write, but then with big tech, it is going to much further. And that balance has to be there between the content creator and the intermediary. So there are international some experiences. Currently in India, the case is going on before the Competition Commission of India. And we are awaiting the judgment, how that happens. And we are also in dialogue with the digital publishers. So whether that if legislation is required, whether that will be under competition law or a separate legislation will be required on the lines of what has been done in other countries. So this is an evolving field, and we are working with the industry in this area.
I like the way you answered both misinformation or fake news, and you spoke about the balance. And in both cases, I think you formed the nodal part of the government in terms of managing this scenario, in terms of administering it, in terms of building unison, if I may say so, between the industry and big tech. And therefore, you think the industry can do something more to come together and help solve some of these causes?
See, on the OTT, which also you mentioned previously, because before we came out with the digital media rules in 2021, there was no particular regulation. And the OTTs were faced with FIRs. Anybody who is dissatisfied with content would file a FIR in some remote part of the country, and people would be saddled with police cases. Now the digital media rules have helped a lot in the sense that now there is a particular framework that in case if somebody is dissatisfied, and there is a 3-tier structure that first, if they are dissatisfied, first they go to the OTT platform itself. And if they are not able to resolve, then the second tier, which is headed by eminent personalities. And it is again a self-regulating body which the OTT platforms themselves have created. And that is also doing very well. And as I mentioned in the morning also, thereafter the government. As regards the OTT platforms, we have received only one complaint so far over the past 2 years, so that shows that it is working pretty well. So this is a light touch approach to regulation, and we would like the same approach to work in other sectors also. The same we had adopted in the under the cable television network for the TV broadcasters also. Unfortunately, they have gone to court, and currently there is stay on actions. So, but we feel that this is the right approach. This is light touch regulation, and it works much better than a hard regulation, and that is what has seen to the profusion of content getting created in India. So much of content is getting created, so much of money is getting invested into new content creation in the country.
I'm going to just shift as industry. Prasar Bharati is very much part of industry, but it's under your aegis. How is Prasar Bharati transforming itself as it builds on this journey?
We have a new CEO who would also be, I think, who is speaking later on this platform. And Prasar Bharati, again, over the past few years, we have seen that not much of content is getting created on Prasar Bharati. He will explain it in more detail, but then within this month itself, I think many new serials are going to come on Prasar Bharati. Prasar Bharati is undergoing a transformation, and just 10-15 days back, again, new films have started coming back on Prasar Bharati, which were not there for a few years. Regional films also will start, and fresh content is also getting created. In fact, today at this forum, we would like to invite others also, because to participate in this transformation of Prasar Bharati, and more on a revenue sharing mode where Prasar Bharati puts in some money. You also become a part of the marketing so that both can share if the program does well. it should not just be the responsibility of Prasar Bharati to pay for the program and then market it also and not earn any revenue out of it. So both should become a party. We would like it to be a partnership between Prasar Bharati and private producers.
Interesting. You made quite a pitch as you sat here. You're becoming a marketeer, Mr. Chandra. You know, I'm going to move on from regulation and challenges to how can this industry grow. In the vision document, we spoke about, the government's been speaking about, that 1% of GDP should be media and entertainment. That's $100 billion in the next 5-6 years. We have what, $20 billion roughly in terms of overall media and entertainment. What are the 2 or 3 things you think the government is doing to unlock that potential?
Today, I mean, the EY report was unveiled, and about $25 billion the media and entertainment industry, so it is just a bit below 1% of the country's GDP. And also it is about 1% of the world's media and entertainment industry. So we have to grow this percentage per se. And the country, as we know, today it is a $3 trillion economy, and we are soon going to be within the 3-4 years, we are going to cross $5 trillion and reach 10 trillion in the next 10 years or so. And the media and entertainment industry has to grow beyond 1%. We have to go to 2%, maybe. I mean, and we are growing at a faster pace than the country. And the world is interested in Indian stories. The world is interested in to learn more about India. We have the stories, but we are constrained by infrastructure. We are constrained by manpower. So that is what we need to facilitate. The industry and the government need to work together in that. As regards incentives, because to attract more and more filmmakers to come to India, the Government of India announced its incentive package last year in June. We are happy that we have released the first incentive of over 1 crore to a particular film called Inheritance. And there are 4 or 5 other projects in the pipeline. And many of the states are also offering incentives. So when we go for co-production, it is all the incentives get clubbed. The state incentive, the Government of India incentive, and the incentive from the foreign country. So that is what we have to look at, and it becomes an attractive proposition for anyone to come and shoot in India. Also for animation and visual effects, the Government of India has opened the incentives for animation, visual effects, and post-production. We want to simplify the process by which the animation and visual effect incentives are given, make it much simpler than shooting incentives. And most of the large Hollywood productions do come to India for post-production, and we hope that these incentives will make it even more attractive.
Well, you know, one of the things you said was people, and therefore the people involved in that. AI is going to change that significantly over the next few years. You will see more and more content which is AI created. You know, is the government thinking ahead on that space also, or should they think about it? One of the learnings we have is when you don't regulate such spaces over a period of time. And I just heard Harit say don't regulate, but equally when you don't regulate, there is other businesses which die and new businesses come and play. And it's not an equal playing field. So as AI comes in, is there forward-looking thinking on that?
As Mr. Vaghela also said before me, that less regulation is the best regulation. I would think don't give me ideas to regulate. Don't give the government ideas to regulate more and more. Let the industry grow.
You know, I love the thought. Less regulation is much, much better. But equal playing fields are important so that everybody is able to unlock their potential. Now, the last question I'd ask as we just summarize this. You know, you spoke about incentives, you spoke about various programs, you spoke about what the central government is doing, what the state government should be looking at, and a couple of thoughts on what the industry should be doing to unlock that potential.
The industry, of course, is doing its best to reach its stories to the world. There are a lot of stories in India, and We should go more to the hinterland, I would think, and take stories from the ground level. There are a lot of stories to be told. In fact, if people here have seen the conclave which we conducted on the Ban Ki Baat program of the Prime Minister, for which the 100th episode happened just on 30th of April. There were almost 100 people in Delhi, and each of them had their own story of what they are doing, how they are transforming the country. And all of these stories, in some way or the other, they are important stories. They need to be told to the world. They need to be told to the country, and these are the stories which need to be carried. Apart from that, our culture, our heritage, there are so many stories hidden in that, and that we need to take ahead. And the world, I'm sure, is interested in our story, and the world wants to know more about India as the heft of India in the economy in the world grows. And we look forward to support and facilitate the media and entertainment industry to take this forward. Thank you.
Exciting times. Clearly, as we unlock and play to our potential, look forward to do it in partnership, industry and the government, so that we can unlock that potential. Thank you. Thank you.